The holographic display flickered to life in the War Council chamber, casting pale blue light across the assembled delegates. Orla stood at attention beside the podium, her Vex-Hari scales rippling with barely contained anxiety. Around the circular room, representatives from 14 allied species watched in silence, their varied forms creating a tapestry of galactic diversity. "This footage," announced Commander Zekthor, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence, "was recovered from the Precursor Vault on Kepler 442b. What you are about to witness has been classified at the highest level for 3 centuries." The hologram expanded, revealing an alien battlefield. The sky burned crimson, and structures of impossible geometry dotted the landscape. At the center stood a figure, humanoid but wrong, too tall, too powerful, wrapped in armor that seemed to drink in the light around it. The Precursor Warrior moved with fluid grace, each gesture deliberate and terrifying. Orla had seen combat footage before. She'd studied the Great Wars, analyzed tactical recordings from 100 conflicts. But this was different. The Precursor didn't just fight. It orchestrated destruction with an artist's precision. Energy weapons that could vaporize starships barely singed its armor. It moved through enemy formations like water through sand, unstoppable and inevitable. "Magnificent," whispered Ambassador Threlix, leaning forward on his crystalline supports. The Precursors were truly gods of war. The footage continued. The warrior raised one gauntleted hand, and reality itself seemed to bend. Orla watched, transfixed. As space folded and enemy combatants simply ceased to exist, their matter scattered across dimensions she couldn't begin to comprehend. Then she noticed him. At the back of the chamber, partially obscured by shadow, stood Adam. The human observer was the only one of his kind assigned to the Coalition fleet, a recent addition following humanity's first contact 3 months prior. His species was still being evaluated, their suitability for the galactic community under review. Most delegates considered humans primitive, barely worthy of attention, a young species still learning to walk among the stars. Adam's face had gone pale, his jaw clenched. His hands gripped the railing before him with enough force that Orla could see his knuckles whitening even from across the room. The Precursor Warrior on the hologram turned, and for the first time, Orla could see its face through the helmet's transparent faceplate. The features were obscured, distorted by time and degraded recording technology, but something about the shape, the proportions. "Could we mute the audio, please?" Adam's voice cut through the chamber, quiet, but carrying an edge that made Orla's scales stand on end. Commander Zekthor's eyes rotated toward the human. "The battle sounds are integral to understanding the—" "Mute it!" The words came harder now, almost a command. "I don't like hearing myself." The chamber fell into shocked silence. Orla's analytical mind raced through the implications, rejecting them even as the evidence crystallized before her. The proportions of the Precursor Warrior, the movement patterns, the tactical choices, they weren't alien at all. They were human, brutally, terrifyingly human. "Impossible," Ambassador Threlix breathed. "The Precursors vanished 300,000 years ago. Humans achieved spaceflight barely 2 centuries past." Adam stepped forward into the light, and Orla saw something in his eyes she'd never seen before. Not in any species, not in any context. Not fear, not anger. Something far more ancient and terrible, recognition and profound weariness. "The footage is older than that," Adam said softly. "Try 500,000 years, and we didn't vanish, Ambassador. We—" He paused, searching for words. "We decided to start over, to forget." Commander Zekthor's mandibles clicked in agitation. "You're claiming humans are the Precursors? The civilization that seeded technology across the galaxy? The warriors who fought the Void incursion to a standstill?" "Not claiming. Confirming." Adam gestured to the frozen hologram. "That's First Captain Sarah Chen. Battle of the Shattered Gate, day 847 of the Void War. She held that position for 16 hours while the civilian evacuation completed. She was my ancestor, 40,000 generations removed. He looked directly at the warrior's frozen image. We won that war, Council. We pushed back an extra-dimensional invasion that would have consumed this entire galaxy. And the cost... His voice cracked slightly. The cost was everything we were. Orla found her voice. What cost? What did you lose? Our humanity in the old sense. Adam's smile was bitter. We became weapons, perfect instruments of destruction. We modified our genetics, enhanced our minds, integrated with technologies you can't even imagine. We became gods of war, just as the ambassador said. And after centuries of fighting, after victory was finally secured, we looked at ourselves and realized we'd become the very thing we'd been fighting against, an unstoppable force that could reshape reality on a whim. So you chose to devolve? Threlix sounded incredulous. To throw away such power? To remember how to be mortal again, to relearn what it meant to struggle, to fear, to hope. Adam walked closer to the hologram. Our greatest minds created a genetic reset, scattered ourselves across the galaxy with locked memories, and let time erase what we'd become. We wanted to earn our place in the universe the hard way, not inherit it through violence. Commander Zekthor studied the human with newfound respect and fear. Does your government know? Some suspect. A few remember fragments in our oldest archives. Myths they can't quite explain, but until this footage, until I saw Sarah Chen standing there wearing the armor of the First Fleet. Adam's hand unconsciously reached up to touch his chest, as if feeling for something that wasn't there. It was just ghost stories. Orla stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overriding protocol. The vault on Kepler 442b, there are more recordings? Probably thousands. Battle logs, tactical databases, weapons specifications that make your most advanced warships look like children's toys. Adam turned to face the council. Which brings us to why I'm asking you to mute the audio, to seal this footage and never access those vaults again. Why? Zekthor demanded. That knowledge could advance our civilizations by millennia. Because you're not ready, Adam said simply. Neither are we. That technology, that knowledge, it's poison. It transforms species into exactly what we became. Perfect killers with god complexes. My ancestors understood that. It's why they locked it away, why they gave us all a second chance at becoming something better than warriors. The hologram still hung in the air. The precursor, the human, frozen mid-battle, a monument to glorious and terrible power. The void is still out there, Orla said quietly. If it returns, then we'll face it as we are now. Together, as allies, not as genetic nightmares playing at divinity. Adam looked around the chamber. My people chose to start again because we learned the hardest truth of all. The greatest victory isn't in becoming powerful enough to destroy your enemies. It's in becoming wise enough to know when not to. Commander Zekthor's eyes studied the human for a long moment. Finally, he gestured to the technician. Seal the footage. Maximum security protocols. The Kepler vaults remain classified and off-limits. As the hologram dissolved, Orla caught one last glimpse of the warrior's face. She understood now why Adam didn't want to hear the audio. Some echoes from the past were too loud, too heavy with the weight of what had been sacrificed. Humanity hadn't conquered the stars. They'd already done that once and walked away from the throne. That, Orla realized, might be the most human thing of all.